Champagne Talks. I am your host, Vanessa Gamez.
I'm also your host, Slash. But today we have one of my favorite people with us. Very good mentor of mine. He's also very diverse as far as entrepreneurs go. He's definitely made his mark on the community here in Houston. Not only is he a poet, he was a teacher, he's a counselor. So we have so much to talk about with him today. I have loads of questions for him because, you know, we're going to get nice and comfortable here on Champagne Talks. But first, before we start, I'm going to let Vanessa discuss the champagne we have for us today.
So I have two. One because you don't drink, correct?
Right. I was about to.
So I actually went ahead and I got you an alcohol removed sparkling wine for you to try. I've never tried this, but I did buy it at a local market in the Houston Heights area. So this is all natural. And so I'm curious because it doesn't have any alcohol.
But that's cool as long as it's popping.
Yay!
Very much so. We're having a very nice Saturday.
Yeah.
So, Seven, while she's pouring, can you tell the audience a little bit about your background, you know, where you're from, what you do, all that?
Man, it's a lot. You know, Sunnyside, South Park, South representing that part.
He says Sunnyside, South Park. Wish I didn't hear that.
Oh, they didn't. I'm not talking loud enough. They might not.
Say it loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
Vernacular. I get it. Sunnyside, South Park, South Side for life. Ebony Worthing, Prairie View A&M University. Bachelor's, Masters.
All the
HISD, Springs, Lena Park.
Real
Yeah.
Houstonian. I say that, I tell you to say it proud because Vanessa knows I like to align myself with people who actually do stuff in the community. Oops, pop the bubbles.
That kind of happens, you know.
Yeah.
Your book didn't get wet.
Here.
I know.
Thank God.
It's a napkin. Look at God. Not a napkin was already right there for us.
But the book that's kind of what it's for, though.
Yeah.
To make things wet.
Ooh. And we're going to get into that because he literally just released a new book. So I am so excited for you guys to hear about this because this is brand new. Listen, can we get a close-up of this? Ooh, baby. We finna talk. I'm going to let him introduce the book, though, because it's him. Mind you, so how I met Seven was I was going through a really hard time in my life, jumping from couch to couch. I had made a bunch of money and then lost a bunch of money. And one of my friends was like, I think you should, you know, let your poetry leave your diary and you should check out this place called Poetry Lounge. You know, like her and her boyfriend or whatever had been there, you know, quite some time. So I go and he actually talked to me after my performance and he was like, you need to come back. And ever since then, I've been doing poetry like crazy, actually spoken word, not just in my journal. So this man means a lot to me.
Oh, thank you.
Anyways.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
I get on his nerves, though. We like to make the mic wet at Poetry Lounge
Oh
Sundays.
my God, that's you with that.
That's it. Well, that's how I met you guys. I met you before her.
I still have that picture of the Halloween costume night.
Oh my gosh.
Ah!
And I didn't win.
I wish I could get a backstory.
I was just like, I had to go dance on the actual judge.
I didn't.
A time was had.
I didn't
time
vote.
was had.
I didn't vote.
He can't vote because technically he the host.
Right, but the outfit was dope. It was memorable.
Literally, it's one of my favorite pictures in
That's-
my Apple.
that's
Every phone
literally
I
how-
switch, that one got to come over too.
Oh, Halloween. So how did we meet? It was in regards to like my poetry, right? I was like interested in writing, and then you were like, hey, I know this spot, you should check it out, and like see
Right.
other artists and see, you know, and then go from there. Because I was just like, man,
And
super
never
intimidated.
got on the stage.
I never got on the stage.
Terrible.
But
not terrible. Don't do that. Don't do my friend like that.
I don't care.
Because she's shown herself through art, through a lot of other ways, through fashion, through poodles, through everything else. Like, she's mastered other crafts, so don't do her like that.
It's
I
okay.
cannot.
She still
Where
writes
are we
She
right
be writing
now?
me 20-page text message poems every other day. I be telling my people, my best friend Colombian Mexican, y'all. She just act like that.
This is the thing, and I tell everybody this. The first thing to happen in the history of the world is God spoke. So if the Creator, if the Almighty had to speak for something to happen, and they say, God made man in his image, therefore we have his gifts and his powers. So if you have a voice and the Creator has to speak to make something happen, who are you not to?
Right. So I'm using my voice today
Right.
for this podcast. And I'm also reaching out to millions of people on a different stage platform.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
That's true. Like, doing a podcast, I mean, it is a voice.
Exactly. But
And our social media, too, all the time.
But one thing I do remember, just like straight up, was I was so amazed at the performances. Every artist was different.
Yeah.
Every artist had a different voice. They had a different way of like incorporating like almost theater to me. I was just like, wow, is this Shakespeare? Is this an opera? Is this like music? Like anything. And
Yeah.
I thought that was unique.
Yeah.
It was very powerful, especially too with some of the messages. You'd either be like, wow, I need to really self-reflect on that, never thought about it that way, or
Yeah.
sad, or
Yeah.
even like the emotions were just impactful every single time.
Pastor Rudy attended once, and he said something to me I never forgot. He said, the people in here are far more honest with themselves about what they're dealing with and who they are than they are at church.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, because, that is kind of what we do. We get on stage and we leave it all there. We put it out there to be judged, to be dissected. And sometimes we talk about other people's shit. But, can we curse?
Yeah.
No,
I appreciate
that
you
one. No,
asking
because there's
that.
one poet. He literally says in his poem, he says we put our hearts on pages, and like every time I hear him, say
Fluent.
that, yeah.
It's fluent.
If you guys don't know Jeremiah, I feel like you should, but
The fluent.
Yeah, we
the
can definitely
fluent one.
give you guys
His
his
handle
Instagram.
is the fluent one. To witness him
Prolific.
speak is it's an experience.
It is.
He's amazing. In his day life, he's like a NASA something. Like, he's a super cool dude. Super
He works
cool
for
dude.
NASA?
And I've
Or does something at NASA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tight.
And I witnessed him in his journey. I mean, all of us experience, like, I lost Levon. I lost one of my favorite band brothers, R&B singers, in death, and that was only last year. And we were young. He was 27 at the time, and he left a daughter. So, like, I feel like with different poets and stuff in the community, like, all of us sharing our experiences that are, I mean, true to the core. Like, people just can't put it in words. Seven's done a really good job of not only doing that himself, but also curating events to where you get that variety. You get that everybody's talking different. Everybody has something different. And it's really a show. And I think that's why he's been successful for so long with what he does. And I think it's really important that he's also had background just in the community with
Yeah, that's definitely
kids,
how
know?
I see you. My opinion would be that like you're always hitting communities. You're always about education. You're about the future of our kids and future generations. Like, hey,
Absolutely.
how can we inspire, and how can they need to learn about our history.
That's
They
true.
need to be proud. I was actually watching. You had been on a different podcast, and the name Seven. You know how it came about and how you were in step.
Right.
Yeah, and so it actually made me also think about tap dance. And you're in salsa now.
Yeah, I'm in
And
salsa.
your toes are so important and stuff, and so that's another expression too.
Yeah.
Like that I was like, oh, cool. But
Yeah.
you were number 7 in line.
Right.
But you were so impactful that people didn't know your name, but they were like, oh, he's wearing number 7. So it's just 7.
Right. They just ran with it.
Nice. I always thought it was more like because God created the world in 7 days or
Nah.
something,
It
like.
wasn't all deep and heavy like that. It was no one knew my name, but they saw the number, so that's what it was.
So, did your love for poetry, was that already something at that time that you were expressing, or did you start your poetry journey at an earlier age, or how did that come about?
Oh no, I started writing in like 9. You know, I mean, it's public school 101. You know, today we're gonna make greeting cards for our families. You know what I mean? So it was, my mother and my grandmother are very book savvy. So, you know, I can't play spades, but I can play
either.
Scrabble. You know what I mean? So,
Same.
you know, so that was
Yeah.
the thing. Reading and writing, my grandmother would let me select the family greeting cards. So I knew what Hallmark was doing. I just felt like I was better at it. So that's how the whole writing thing came about. When I got to college, I had never said a poem out loud in front of a crowd. No,
But you had written one.
Several.
What was your?
Several.
Do you remember your first poem?
The first one that I wrote.
Yes.
No, I don't remember the first one I wrote. I remember the first one I memorized.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
was that about?
A chick.
Tell us. No, that because you know what? My poems when I wrote when I was a kid, I only know them because I kept my old diaries. But that first poem you memorized to spit on stage, that one.
Oh,
is,
you actually remember it.
right, because you have to spit it on stage anyways.
Right.
So like when I met Seven, he kind of emphasized like, you know, memorization with your poems and pronunciation, making sure you're, you know, speaking correctly and everything. But now I have like 30 poems memorized, so anywhere I go, I can just go.
Right.
But that first one's different.
It was about a chick.
I
His was
memorized
about a
poem
chick.
'cause
His was, mine wasn't, but his
I memorized
was.
a poem because I felt like
Is it
reading it
good?
to her would have been lame.
Oh.
It probably would, you know. It'll do. Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
So how old were you?
19.
Ooh, fresh off the meat market. I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like 19. Listen. When I was 19, baby.
I was a sophomore in college.
Have you ever heard of fresh strawberries?
Oh. No, I wasn't
Jingle
there
your
yet.
keys.
There were no strawberries.
So I have a question. Since we're talking, you know.
Okay.
If you believe there is a difference, can you please describe the difference between polygamy and an open relationship?
Dun dun dun.
Listen, this is someone I fully trust. Like,
An open relationship, you kind of just do what you want, and then the person gets the information as you allow, or you can keep them on a need to know basis. You know what I'm saying? You do you, I do me, but we understand that there's some connection, some bond. We acknowledge that, but it's open. Be free. Be happy. Polygamy seems to lend itself towards family structure. So, you know, when we start tossing words around, you know, especially in polygamy, to be fair, you know, anybody could be the head, because you do have some polygamous relationships where the woman is the center and she has two dudes. I couldn't play that role. I'm just not submissive to another dude like that. That ain't my state.
at least he knows
I
what he
feel like
likes.
I feel like a lot of men
listen-
aren't. I feel like a lot of men aren't. I really do feel, this is my personal opinion, is that a lot of men are built for possession. I was listening to like Greek mythology and I was just like, Zeus, really?
Not Zeus, really.
I was just like,
I mean, generally speaking, but at the end of the day, in the construct,
You don't like the way it's structured.
no. I'm talking about in the construct of relationships.
Oh, okay.
Your strengths will make you the leader. It's natural selection. You know what I mean? Especially when we start talking about polygamy and numbers. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason I feel like I ask the question is because I feel like being that, you know, we do try to help younger people, especially, you know, like right now I feel like I'm really targeting nonprofit youth groups, people who work with black and brown people under the age of 18, because, little girls and little boys, obviously, we can't say like, oh, y'all did XYZ and they just do what we did and say, well, the generation before us never showed us anything different. So I feel like I ask because nowadays I feel like society sometimes throws the terms too loosely. So I just wanted to make sure we got some vocabulary while you were here, like actual definition and words, because they're kind of mixing the two sometimes. And I don't know.
Polygamy with open relationship?
I feel like, yes, a lot of the Gen Zs you meet in the community.
Oh, that's the thing. I'm not talking to children.
You're not, but some of us are, like in the community just in general. So it's like, because so children think they grown. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, technology is different nowadays, though, because they easily can go on YouTube and watch anything they want. They easily can get on the internet and watch anything they want. So I'm saying,
Absolutely.
Since they watch it anyway, I would rather they hear it from an OG. Because sometimes I say it and they be like, well, you only like young. You just graduated high school.
I feel like it has to do with experience too.
I mean, it
like
does, but they don't have it.
Because they're young.
They're not going to listen. I mean,
Nothing not gonna listen.
they're not. Experience will be the teacher. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
100%.
Experience is the best teacher, though.
What we'll try to do in Maslow's, acceptance, social acceptance is a need. And because it's a need and we don't acknowledge the need, we just know it's there, we tend to push ourselves into any kind of space to feel accepted. But that is part of the life experience that teaches you, okay, not there, not this space, not them, not, you know what I'm saying? And you figure out where you belong, you find your tribe.
You have to find
And
yourself.
acceptance, but you have to find yourself first.
Yeah.
And it is making those mistakes and walking in those doors.
So, you just released a book. So,
I did.
in this book, 365,
Sexy text.
exactly, text, words.
Yeah.
Love it. And this actually has to do with romance, doesn't it?
Yes. However, the function is it's of a technical piece. I did not know that women did not like the WYD and Good Morning Beautiful. Well, my sister was saying to me last night, y'all queen. She said, y'all queening me to death. Good morning, queen. I don't talk like that, but
That's hilarious.
I didn't know that y'all didn't like that.
I
Do you get that?
don't get what are you doing?
So-
I've never really gotten I don't know if I filter that though. Or maybe like people just know to not tell me what are you doing.
I think that, with people like us, like strong personalities, like, no, don't what you doing.
However,
Do you get the Good Morning Beautiful?
I
Yes.
get it, but I don't necessarily love it.
You don't-
look
you don't like-
irritated.
you don't like Good Morning Beautiful?
First of all, if you text me every other day, good morning, beautiful, bitch, be creative.
Then there's that.
Like,
So that's your taste.
my taste, honestly, like the whole good morning, beautiful, I understand the romance behind it. I understand that some women, they want that good morning, beautiful.
This is why you have to read this.
Listen, poets are your best friends. I don't care what nobody says.
So the Good Morning Beautiful, you like it? It
I
doesn't
do. It
irritate
doesn't
you?
bother me.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
And ain't she friendly? No, I'm just kidding.
also, what I found out is that y'all
Who's y'all?
Us.
women
Okay.
are aware of the copy and paste game. He Good Morning Beautiful.
Oh, to 6 different bitches. Yeah.
It's pretty sad, but
I've done that myself.
that's pretty sad.
Listen, I was young once upon a time.
It's cool though. It's cool.
Once upon a
did-
time, I had more bitches than I had days of the week, and everybody know that.
I've always felt like in a relationship, I get to know the person, and so everyone expresses himself differently. And I'm not going to waste my time with someone that is not interesting, or, for me to take the time to get to know them. And so everyone expresses himself differently, like I said before, but that is also the love language, like the wording. Like sometimes it'll be like, hey, and then it'd follow along. It's like a flow. So I'm not like
But
judging.
some people don't have that. And here's the thing. I mean, you're an attractive woman. Think about how awkward some guys approach you, you know,
In
the
real
physical,
life.
yeah, in real life. You know, so some people struggle with what to say. So since I was made to understand that
Everybody in good
intimacy
words like that.
and sex is a cerebral thing, you know, women need to be mentally stimulated before the physical can happen.
So this is what.
Fellas, ladies,
So you can say something every day
gents.
for any situation.
This is basically what he's saying is he's trying to help some of y'all.
Look,
Wow,
Look.
this is beautiful.
Look.
I literally just can I
It
read
says,
something off
feel
of
free
it?
to copy, modify, or paste to add spice to your own relationship, but brace yourself.
He's literally creating the roller coaster.
May I? 139 treasured. When she laughs, my heart beats harder. Diamonds could form from the pressure I feel in my chest. Her smile is perfect. Her eyes gleam happy, joy, beautiful, blessed. My hardened heart now beats brilliantly. There's a diamond in my chest. Her lips sweet, they speak to my future and forgive me of my past. And all she had to do was laugh.
Yeah.
That's pretty
on-
cool. Yeah.
On the sweet side, that's so.
I know y'all ain't coming up with none of that. So go get the book. You need the book. You need.
So
the
do
book.
you
It's
teach
crazy.
I say
poetry?
that. I say that because do you know that? I mean, you've dated people, tons of people. I've dated tons of people. You know that sometimes I like people like the idea of falling in love with somebody that they met on stage, but who I am in real life is the person who made the person on stage.
But then that's where you have to like figure out who is really seeing you.
Well, we play a role in that. The thing to do is you don't introduce the representative. You got to be balls to the wall from the gate, and that will give you a gauge of how they feel about you. You know, we all play the representative game. We don't let it all hang out on the first date. At least I didn't used to. Now I ain't no telling what I might say, but you can get the truth off the top, so we can cut the
Do you feel like that
bullshit.
makes you more fun today? Because I've noticed with dating older people, like y'all are
I get
very.
offended when people call me older. I'm like,
But no, he's
But
of
it's-
age.
yeah.
Like you knew that one girl I dated last year that was 40 plus. Like you know, people who are 40 plus are just they different. Like dating them is different because they kind of say what they want to say. Are you babysitting though?
Wait a
I'm
minute.
on your
no,
side.
I'm trying to fill your cup.
What was the question again?
Like, do you feel like now that you might say anything like you said on the first day instead of letting it all hang out? Because I'm not gonna lie, when I get up on stage and stuff, I don't let everything on the whenever I first meet you. I don't even remember. Like I had a girl just recently
That's
like
not
hit me
true.
up.
You remembered me.
Okay, but you're my best friend, and like that's different.
I wasn't your best friend when we first met.
But we became best friends. We had constant communication. Like what I'm saying is, I just had a girl DM me a couple weeks ago on Instagram because I saw her at a house party a month ago, but found out I met her 3 years ago at a poetry event. I just never gave her the time of day. So I'm saying
happens.
like
It's
we
in the
never
flow.
on the first time we meet you, like even on the second time maybe, like I'm not letting it, just. I'm not gonna be. I'm personally. I'm a protector, and I don't like to be naked or vulnerable in front of everybody and anybody. I watch my family guard, my friends guard, my guard, everything. So I don't. But because he does, and I feel like most people, when you 35 and up, you think you grown. But most people who are 40 and up, like for real, they grown. They grown.
Do you think it's? I don't think it's everyone.
You don't think it's everyone?
I don't think not every 40-something-year-old or 50-something-year-old has really. I think it's everyone's journey. Like
Growth is subjective.
yeah.
It depends on who you're talking to and what you're talking about. You know, in some subject matter, there are some kids that are 18 that are elder to me per the knowledge of that subject. It's crazy to hear somebody read.
Your work?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
wild. It's wild.
Oh, I finally spoke.
Stop.
Sound 365 pieces of inspiration is not. That's not an easy feat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a lot, but it's not to make anything easy. There are some difficult.
I mean, fellow art from a fellow poet within the community. It really doesn't get any better than this. Thank you so much, Seven, for coming and like hanging out with us.
Did you?
It's available on Amazon.
Where can they find the book? Where can they find you?
Well, I will have my first book release, and the book will always be available at Poetry Lounge, 809 Congress.
Hanky and Pilot downtown if you're in Houston.
Yeah, so you got the 1 p.m. brunch and then the 6
With
o'clock show.
mimosas, might I add, for the brunch.
Complimentary.
For all my
mimosas.
ladies.
Complimentary mimosas.
And then the evening show also comes with a complimentary drink if you come before 6 or something.
Right, drinks on me.
Yep.
Perfect. Thank you guys for tuning
Cheers,
in.
you guys.
And cheers. Happy Monday.